So I played a dog and I was literally just walking around like a dog. Hi everyone, how are you? This is Emily from Emily's Palette, and today I want to talk about something that is very personal to me. I was recently having lots of conversations about it with my partner and also with some of my friends, and I realized some pretty interesting things that I want to talk to you about. I'm going to talk about my experience with drama, how it shaped my personality, and how it helped with my growth as well as a person. And with drama, I mean anything really to do with acting, theatre, drama courses, musical theatre, everything like that. I used to be an incredibly shy kid. I was really shy, really introverted, basically terrified to talk to people. I always had a few friends that I would be quite close with, but I always used to be very timid and scared and just really kind of in my head about everything. This was from such a young age, where I remember I'd be in the middle of a field playing with children my age at like 6 or 7 years old, and I'd literally just want to hang out with the teacher because I'd be like, you can protect me, I'm scared of all these children. Growing up, it didn't really get much better. I kind of got introduced to Musically and social media, which made me think that I felt a bit more kind of confident and a bit more my own person. But the truth is, I was always still terrified of doing things, of meeting new people, going out. I was just shy. I was just really shy. I had a lot of insecurities growing up. I was always worried about my appearance and how I'd look. I used to have curly hair that wasn't like this now, but it used to be like a mess, and I had braces and glasses. I just wasn't at all confident, and I really feel for that version of me right now. But anyway, that's the way I grew up. I always knew I was very sensitive, very shy. But I always loved watching performances, whether it was a film, whether it was a show. Anytime we traveled to the UK from Italy, I'd want to see a West End show and I'd be like, oh my god, this is amazing. I used to love that form of expression, and I didn't really quite know why. I always knew I was creative. I always knew I loved art. I was very good at painting and drawing. I did an art school. I loved singing all my life. I used to do dance classes. So I kind of had all of that creative background, but I never really put it into practice so much where it actually resonated with me and it made me grow as a person. Until one day in my second year of high school, so I was, I think, around 14, my mum told me, I think you should do a musical theatre course. She found one for me, which was basically like an after-school course where you do 2 lessons a week. One of them was singing and theatre, and the next lesson was just going to be dancing. I have got to tell you, I was absolutely terrified. Okay, what is that? Okay, completely lost my train of thought. Here we go. Yes, I was absolutely terrified, and I had to beg one of my friends to come to the first lesson with me because I couldn't just approach this group and not know anyone and join an already made group in itself. It was pretty fun. It was one of the first lessons of the year, so it wasn't too difficult. We kind of learnt a bit of singing, we did some vocal exercises, and then the theatre part came up and my heart was literally in my throat because I've always been terrified of acting. There's something about putting myself out there so much and having people judge my abilities and have people judge whether I'm good enough or not. Whereas with singing and dancing, I'd always done that, so I was much more confident in that. I knew that I had more abilities in that sense, but I was absolutely terrified of acting. Anyway, the acting session came up, and it was like you have to become an animal that you think of, like what's your favorite animal. You had to kind of act like that animal. Obviously I was doing things really in a tiny way because I was terrified of being like too much, or that people would look at me and think, oh my god, what the hell is she doing? So I played a dog and I was literally just walking around like a dog. Everyone was doing it at the same time, by the way, so it was fine. My friend obviously didn't like it, so she backed out, and I thought, okay, I think I'm gonna give it another go. It's quite a small group. There were about 15 people, and the teachers seemed nice, so I was like, you know what, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna step out my comfort zone, and I'm gonna try and build this.
I think that's the thing that surprises people about me, that I'm probably more shy than people realize.
Problem was, I, as the very, very, very self-aware, shy young girl, I was hyper aware about everyone's looks. So I would look at people and kind of notice, oh my god, she looked at me like that, and she laughed at me when I said that, and she rolled her eyes to her friend, and so they're all now looking at me and they think that I'm not good, or that they're judging me in some way, like I'm not part of the group, and I was so scared. But around the same time, there was one of the people that I met there, who I'm still friends with, who kind of started talking with me and was like, okay, like, I know it's difficult to join a new group, so I want to help you kind of get on with people. And at the time, he was already a big part of the group. I think because he was helping me integrate in this new group as a shy person, it really helped me, because people started seeing me as part of the group, which kind of tells you how important it is to actually pay attention and to help people who are just starting out, because if that didn't happen, I don't know if I would have continued. I was really quite scared that a few people in the group just didn't like me. They just decided not to like me, and I was terrified. But as time went on, I started talking to more people. I'd share jokes with people. I started to get more and more comfortable. But I was still terrified of acting. I was still super scared. Until one day I kind of decided to actually just try and pretend like I'm not scared, just as I'd pretend to be a character that I was playing. The cool thing about acting is you get to step away from yourself for a little bit and become someone else.
You say that you used to be a very, very shy child.
I am still, yeah.
Are you still?
Absolutely, yeah. No, this is all an act. No.
In a way, it's kind of like saying, well, it's not my responsibility if you don't like my character or the way I'm portraying it, because it's a character, it's not me. I'm acting like someone. And slowly, with all of the acting exercises, you kind of get more and more used to that. It's not as daunting anymore to think, oh my god, am I doing it wrong? Should I be acting differently? Would someone else have done it differently? Are they all gonna laugh at me? You just kind of get used to it, where you think everyone's just worried about their own performance. It's like when you're watching two people do a scene and you think, I'm next. You're literally just thinking, what am I gonna do? How's my scene gonna look? Is it gonna be embarrassing? Should I do it loud? Should I do it quiet?
Should I do it soft?
Should I do it angry or excited? Oh, I don't know. Oh yeah, that was cool. They were good. Anyway, and once I learned that everyone's just thinking about themselves, it helped me so much. It helped me gigantically, because I thought, okay, no one is judging me as hard as I am right now. They're just not at all. And if they did, it's just for a tiny bit of time, and then they'll forget about it. Everything was going very much uphill from then until one day. Until one day we did an improvising session. Oh! And that still haunts me to this day. Anytime someone mentions, should we improvise that? No! No. Please. I know I need to do it because I need to practice it, but I'm absolutely terrified. Give me a character. Give me a script. Give me anything and I'll do it happily. But if you ask me to improvise, it's too personal. It's like it's all coming from my brain, out of my perception of reality, and I can barely think of conversations when I'm actually talking to people. Let alone I hope it's less alone. Let alone actually invent conversations with people. It was just too terrifying for me. And what happened is people had their turns. They were pretty good at it. I then went and I blanked. My whole mind went blank. It was extremely cringe. The things I was saying did not make any sense whatsoever. The teacher was kind of like,
"Ooh, come on, keep trying."
and I was super in my head. And then at one point she went, "Okay, it's okay, you can sit down now. Let's go on to the next." Oh! That was one of the hardest days in my acting experience. I felt so small and I thought, oh my god, I can't believe that I couldn't do that.
It's always more difficult when you're playing something that's closer to you, I think.
Are you a little bit shy, you think? Or?
I'm very shy.
You are?
Yeah.
But in a way, that's super powerful because I failed and I showed up the next week and we did our own lines and I delivered it. I thought to myself, no, you know what? I might not be good at improvising, but I'm gonna do the acting part well now. And you learn that you might not get something right and then you can just try it again, or you can go into what your strengths are. And as a shy person, I noticed, well, of course I'm shy, so I'll always struggle with just coming up with something by myself because I don't feel like I'm good enough at doing that. So what am I good at? Well, I'm really introspective, I'm sensitive, I notice things in people, and I always have done. So let me use those skills and create a character and a performance out of it. I don't know if that makes sense, I hope it does. But acting teaches you that you can be any version of yourself that you'd like. Because it's not true that there's only one version. We're a different version of ourselves in every circumstance with every person. So I learned, what would I like to be more? I'd like to be more confident presenting. I'd like to be able to just think of a joke or just talk to a group of people and not be scared. And I thought, let me use my acting skills. Let me pretend this is a performance. And it just shifted my perspective so much because it's not me, it's a version of me. So if they don't like that version of me, who cares? That's the version I like to be. That's what I decided to present.
Same kind of with acting. You pick a character today and you go out there and you embrace that. This job per se has helped me in many ways. I think the reason why I like it allows me to be these other people, allows me to do things that I otherwise would be terrified and nervous and would never do.
Their judgment doesn't mean that I myself and my very core is unlikable. You know? Yeah. So it just shifted my perspective completely, and I wouldn't be who I was today without it, to be honest. And year after year of doing this musical theatre course, I got more and more confident. I got more and more of a really, really nice group. The group was super supportive. We became really close. We became very good friends. We'd hang out. And suddenly it felt like they don't want to see me fail. They want to see me do well and overcome obstacles. And the second the teacher would see me deliver a line that I was too scared to do because maybe I had to shout or yell, and then suddenly I did it, she was so proud of me and she was like, yes, you know, you've overcome a barrier. And I think genuinely acting is about overcoming all kinds of barriers and blocks. You're overcoming walls and you're pushing them down, and then you expand as a person. You start to have more agency and you know better what you like, what you don't like, how you like reacting, what type of character you don't like to play. And I don't know, I just feel like it's deeply personal, and it's a massive challenge for especially introverted or shy people to do. But it's so worth it because you really do learn so much about yourself, and it's a massive step out of my comfort zone. But I did it and I completely changed. I started slowly feeling more confident. I slowly started to build a network of friendships that I really never thought I'd get. I just started glowing like inside and out because I was holding this and I could not wait to go to acting and singing and dance class. Don't get me wrong, I'm still terrified of acting. I'm still very scared of it, but I love it and I love performing and I love getting it right. So there's something there about doing something even though it scares you, and that being such a strength, because that is really how you grow as a person. Anyway, I did think I was going to do that as a career. I was about to do musical theatre school and an audition. I was extremely scared and nervous, so I thought I must not want this enough, because if I did, then I wouldn't be this scared. I'd just want to do it anyway. And if any of you out there are thinking that, that's not necessarily true. At least for me, it was that I cared so much that I was so scared that I would fail at it, and then my passion would just burn into ashes, and I'd never really want to experience it again. So I didn't go for it. Do I regret it? Maybe, yeah, in some aspects. But on the other hand, I'm really also happy with how my life is turning out. I am really trying to force myself into looking at auditions constantly to try and keep that passion alive, to keep that development and that growth going. I know that in my heart, I loved performing and I loved just wearing nice costumes and becoming someone and seeing a whole audience and being like, look at me, everyone, look at me, look at all the growth I did this year, look at my performance. I was shy, I promise you. And I think I became a genuinely confident person because of it. I am very grateful to my mum who recommended I do this course. It really very much changed my life, and I thought I would share that knowledge with you in case you were wondering whether you want to start theatre or drama but you're too scared or a bit shy. You'll find your people. Don't worry about it. Give it a go. If you don't like it, you can always stop, but it's always worth a shot, and I think you won't regret it. I'd love to hear about your experience. Has drama helped you? Has it shaped your personality at all? Have you done drama before? I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments, so please let me know. And I hope to see you in the next video. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you soon. Bye!